You're driving down Mission Boulevard in Mission Beach, and a pebble kicks up from the car ahead. Crack. Now you've got a chip in your windshield, and you're thinking, is it really worth fixing this tiny thing, or should I just ignore it? You're listening to the Speedy Windshield Repair San Diego podcast with your host, Stuart Rofa. Let's get into it. Hey there, I'm Stuart Rofa, and today we're talking about whether it's worth fixing that windshield chip when you're living the beach life in Mission Beach. And look, I get this question all the time from folks who think a little chip is no big deal. So here's what I hear constantly from Mission Beach drivers. It's just a tiny chip, Stuart. I can barely see it. Why would I spend money on something so small? Or my personal favorite, I'll just wait and see if it gets worse, right? You know what I mean? And I totally understand that thinking. You're looking at this little ding that's maybe the size of a dime, and you're thinking about all the other things you could spend that money on. Maybe fish tacos at the Mission or parking for another day at Belmont Park. But here's the thing, and this is where most people get it completely wrong. That tiny chip isn't just sitting there doing nothing. It's like a crack in the foundation of your house. It looks harmless now, but it's actively getting worse every single day. Actually, let me back up. Mission Beach is probably one of the worst places in all of San Diego County to ignore a windshield chip. And that's because of where you live. See, you've got this perfect storm of conditions working against your windshield every single day. You've got salt air coming off the ocean, and that salt doesn't just make your car look crusty, it actually gets into that chip and starts corroding the edges. Makes the damage spread faster. Then you've got sand particles blowing around constantly. I mean, you know this, if you've ever tried to keep your car clean living near the beach. That sand acts like a natural sandblaster, and it's constantly hitting your windshield, working its way into that chip, making it bigger. And don't even get me started on the temperature swings. You wake up to that marine layer, it's cool and damp. By afternoon, you're driving inland to Claremont or up to La Jolla, and it's 20 degrees warmer. Your windshield is expanding and contracting all day long. That puts stress on the chip, and eventually, pop, it starts spreading. I was just working on a car last week from a guy who lives right off West Mission Bay Drive. Had a tiny chip for maybe 3 days. 3 days! And by the time he called Speedy Windshield Repair, it had already started turning into a crack. The moisture from that marine layer fog had gotten in there, and when it cooled down at night, it expanded the damage. Now, let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets really clear. A chip repair, we're talking 50 to maybe $150 if you're paying cash. Most of the time, if you've got insurance, it's $0 out of your pocket. Zero. But if you wait and that chip spreads, and trust me, in Mission Beach, it will spread. Now you're looking at a full windshield replacement. That's anywhere from $200 to $800, depending on what you're driving. So the math is pretty simple, right? Fix it now for maybe nothing, or fix it later for hundreds more. But here's something most shops won't tell you, and this is the part that really matters for safety. Your windshield isn't just there to keep bugs out of your teeth. It actually provides up to 30% of your car's structural strength in a rollover. 30%. So when you've got a compromised windshield with cracks spreading across it, you're not just looking at a visibility problem. You're looking at a safety problem. And when you're cruising down the 5 or taking those curves on Sunset Cliffs Boulevard, you want every bit of protection you can get. Now, not every chip can be repaired. Generally, if it's smaller than a quarter and it hasn't started spreading into long cracks, we can fix it. Location matters too. If it's right in your line of sight, sometimes replacement is the safer option. Before I let you go, let me rapid fire a few related questions I get all the time. How long does a repair take? Usually 30 to 45 minutes, and we can often do it right where you're parked. Will I be able to see where the chip was? There might be a tiny mark, but it won't spread anymore and your visibility will be restored. What if I have multiple chips? That's when we start talking replacement. Multiple chips usually mean your windshield has reached the end of its useful life. Bottom line, don't let a small problem become a big expensive one. If you've got a chip in Mission Beach, give me a call at 619-761-487 and we'll get you taken care of with mobile windshield chip repair, usually the same day. I'm Stuart, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to the Speedy Windshield Repair San Diego podcast. If you need windshield repair or replacement in the San Diego area, give us a call at 619-761-4887 or visit speedywindshieldrepairsd.com. We'll see you next time.
Clarity is on its way, making everything okay. Crystal clear the open road, lifting up a heavy load. Precision, vision, expertise, putting your whole mind at ease.